This is the TST TS-01 Electric Bike, and let me tell you, it really stands out with its step-through frame and solid build. Just looking at it, you can tell this is a city commuter e-bike that's got a touch of style, but doesn't forget about practicality. When I first took it out of the box, I honestly had a moment of doubt because the frame looks pretty hefty and rugged, but it actually comes together quite nicely once everything's put together. I found the assembly to be as simple as you could hope for when dealing with an adult-sized electric bike. Really, all the main components come pre-assembled, and the rest takes you around half an hour if you follow the video guide included, is what caught my eye right away. That basically means there's a big open space between the seat and handlebars, so it's super easy to get on and off, even if you're not wearing athletic gear, or if you, like me, don't want to hoist your leg over a high frame. I think that's a big deal for anyone who's either newer to cycling or just wants an easier time in city traffic. And let's be honest, if you're commuting or running errands, it matters. Now let's talk about some key features. The motor is rated at 500 watts with a peak of 1000 watts, so you're definitely getting enough power for everyday riding. And honestly, it's more than I thought I'd need for city streets. If you ever worry about getting up hills or carrying groceries, this has more than enough torque at 55 newton-meters. When I pushed the throttle, it accelerated way better than I expected, even with my backpack loaded up. The official specs say it'll hit 30 miles per hour, and while I didn't clock that exactly, I did get to a speed where I started to feel wind in my face and maybe a little nervous on tighter paths. From my experience, the most important thing with any e-bike is the battery, and here they give you a 36-volt 10.4-hour setup. What does that mean in real life? With pedal assistance, which is when the motor helps out as you're pedaling, you can expect around 40 to 50 miles, depending on your weight and how many hills you tackle. If you're just using the throttle without pedaling, then more like 20 to 30 miles on a charge. I commuted around the city all day, ran a couple weekend errands, and still had battery left for the ride home. The battery itself is removable, so you can pop it out and charge it indoors, which I found a lot more convenient than parking near an outlet. Speaking of commuting, this bike really hits the sweet spot between comfort and utility. The front suspension fork means those random bumps, potholes, or curb edges don't rattle your teeth. The seat is thicker than what I've seen on some other bikes, and the step-through setup lets you ride in more relaxed clothes if you want. I also noticed the frame has a full set of fenders, which turned out to be a lifesaver on a rainy day. No stripe of water up my back, which if you've done any cycling, you know is a huge plus. One thing I wasn't sure about at first was the LCD display. I've seen some that are really basic, but this one is actually pretty handy. It shows your speed, battery level, how far you've gone, and which assist mode you're in. You can adjust the motor's power assist easily, depending on whether you want more of a workout or just want to cruise. Setting up the speed limit is easy too. I played around with the companion app, and lifting the speed limit was as simple as tapping a setting. The app also tracks ride history, which I didn't think I'd use at first, but it's helpful if you're keeping an eye on your routines or just want to compare trips. One thing people always ask is how comfortable and safe these city e-bikes really are. With the TST TS-01, I feel like they took the right steps. The swept-back handlebars put your wrists in a relaxed position, which makes longer rides a lot more comfortable. The dual disc brakes, which just means you've got powerful stoppers on both the front and back wheels, really help with confidence. I could stop quickly even when someone opened a car door in front of me. There are also LED lights on the front and rear for visibility, and as someone who sometimes rolls home after sunset, that made a big difference in feeling safe. I'd recommend this for someone who rides early or late in the day. It's perfect for city commutes, casual rides, or anyone who wants to run errands without breaking a sweat. The included rear cargo rack is pretty strong. I loaded mine with a gym bag and groceries, and it didn't flinch. With a maximum weight limit of 300 pounds, this e-bike suits most adults and even works if you have extra gear or a small backpack. I've always been a little hesitant about the weight of e-bikes because some of them can be crazy heavy. The TST TS-01 comes in at just under 63 pounds. I'm not saying it's feather light, but I didn't have trouble rolling it out to the street or lifting the front wheel up a curb. If you're planning to carry it upstairs every day, you might want something lighter, but for on-the-ground use, it feels totally reasonable. Another thing I appreciate is that the 26-inch wheels with 1.95-inch tires feel stable but not too fat. Sometimes those big chunky tires look cool but end up making the bike heavy and slow in the city. Here, you get a perfect balance, just enough cushion for rougher streets and slim enough to keep the bike lively. Now, I had a couple of concerns at the start. The battery charging time can be a bit long if you're in a hurry. It usually takes me around 5 or 6 hours to charge fully from empty, so it's best to plug it in overnight. Also, you want to double-check all the bolts and components are tight after assembly. Mine felt solid, but I always recommend giving any new bike a check before heading out. One more note about the gears. You get a 7-speed trigger shifter, which lets you click through gears on the right handlebar. Shifting is smooth, and if you're new to gears, it's just a way to make pedaling easier uphill or faster on the flats. I had no issues here, and I think it makes the bike accessible even for someone who hasn't used a gear bike before. Maintenance is straightforward. I keep it clean, check the brakes, and make sure the battery terminals are dry. The removable battery helps a lot with this, as you can bring it inside to avoid theft or bad weather. I haven't had to do anything special so far. In conclusion, this TST TS-01 electric bike gets a strong recommendation from me for anyone looking for a reliable ride around town or on local trails. It's got a mix of comfort, power, safety, and practicality. The value is good for what you get, especially all the commuter-friendly parts like fenders, rack, lights, and easy mounting. If you're unsure about stepping into the e-bike world, I think this model's mix of features and ease of use is a smart place to start. I'd recommend this for city commuters, leisure riders, or anybody who wants an extra boost without any hassle. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more quick reviews and drop your questions or own experiences in the comments below. Thank you for watching.